Hello, everyone. Welcome to 101 Talks with Sachin Menon, a podcast where we break in big, complex ideas into grounded and real world conversation. Today's episode is interesting. Today's episode is about moving beyond AI hype into focusing on real impact of AI. I am very much delighted to welcome Mohan, co founder and CEO of TrendWise Analytics. Mohan has closely worked with CXOs, collaborated with IITs, and delivered 30 Gen AI and Agentic AI programs. Sir, welcome to the call.
Thank you, Sachin. Great to be here.
Before we talk about the future of AI, it's important to understand what shaped your perspective. You have spent years training CXOs, working with academia linked programs, and now deeply into Gen AI and Agentic AI. Sir, let's start with the journey.
Sure, yeah. So basically, journey obviously started more than 35 years back now. And I closely worked with technology. I started my career with SAP Labs.
Okay.
And it was in the enterprise space, which was already, data was the core part of it. And then we moved to data warehousing and customer relationship management, data analytics, and so on. And so when I left corporate to start on my own, my enterprise, it was the big data time. That was the big data wave about 10, 12 years back. And I also was with IBM working in the big data space at that time. And I saw the opportunity, and that's how I kind of started. And as we all know, data plays a big role for artificial intelligence and machine learning. So then came the wave of machine learning, and then came the wave of artificial intelligence. That's where we are today. AI also is now evolving. We had what we now call as traditional AI, where it was all about recognition. And then we now have generative AI, which with ChatGPT that has kind of revolutionized. And now we are moving to agentic AI. Agentic AI is already here, but still it has a long way to go. And so, yeah, that's how in very short my journey as I was.
Okay. What exactly pulled you seriously into AI and later into Gen AI?
As I said, initially it was all about data. So when I started my enterprise, when I started my entrepreneurship, it was all about big data. So we started working with data, helping organizations handling large amounts of data and so on. So it was a natural evolution. At that time, we were interacting with clients. It was while initially it was all about okay, what happened last quarter and things like that. But then the CXO started asking, okay, what can happen next quarter, right? So it was more futuristic. So that's how it started into predictive analytics, which then led to machine learning. And then, of course, with the advent of neural networks and deep learning, by the way, I also authored a couple of books on deep learning. So that kind of, generated a lot of interest around AI. And that's how we moved into AI.
Okay. Can I get details of the book so that our audience might take a
Oh,
note
yes.
of
So
it?
there is sure. So there is the one. Of course, it can be searched with my name, Mohan Silaparasetty. So one book is way back in 2018. That was the TensorFlow. Both my books are on TensorFlow, which is the library, Google's library for machine learning. And the first one is titled TensorFlow Workshop, and the second one is also similar title. But the first one is with Pact, and the second one is BPB Publishing. Pretty hands-on, and of course, I would say while the fundamentals still remain same, these both the books had a lot of hands-on coding and all. Probably some of it would be a little outdated now. They are almost 7, 8 years old, and
Things have
yeah,
changed so
changes
rapidly.
changing so rapidly. However, I'm working on a third book, so hopefully,
That's very interesting because there are very few people who have worked AI from both the leadership perspective and also from the learning side.
absolutely. Yes, yeah, absolutely. And just to add to that, I'm also, well, yes, I'm the CEO of my company, and I've also when I was in the corporate, I was in leadership roles. I was a vice president at SAP Labs and so on. But I'm pretty hands-on. I love coding. That's my passion. And that's why I love teaching people as well. So I'm pretty hands-on even now.
So you keep interacting with senior leaders regularly. So When did the mindset shift from, like, say, AI curiosity to AI urgency?
Yeah, I think that's a good question. I would say probably ChatGPT was, in my opinion, the release of ChatGPT was probably the turning point. Everybody it became so popular. Till then, it was a little bit more in the technical circles. People knew about AI, but the leaders were always thinking, oh, this is a technology thing. The CTO will take care of it, things like that. But I think with the advent of ChatGPT, everybody saw the potential directly have access to knowledge and information at their fingertips, right? So no longer they have to depend on a CIO or a CTO to provide them the details that they need. And then the moment they saw that they can use it, they also what triggered in their mind was, okay, maybe my competitors are also now using it, right? So kind of generated the urgency. My competitors can use this and get ahead. Now I also need to do it. So in my opinion, probably that was the turning point.
Where does problem what you were trying to solve before
Yeah,
TrendWise Analytics, and how was it evolved with the rise of Gen AI?
absolutely. I think this is again one of the amazing things about. So we started, as I mentioned, as a big data company. So when we started in 2000, it was founded in 2012. And we started as a big data company. And that time, the problem was companies were drowning in data. There was, everyone. So they have already gone through the phase of enterprise software, implementing enterprise software, and they had data warehousing and so on. But they had enterprise software for different areas. ERP was there, CRM was there, and then of course the social media also came in around that time. So there was a lot of data. So our initial, when we started, our aim was to help organizations in solving the big data problem. So we started as a big data company. We were among the top 10 big data companies at that time. And then it was a natural progression and evolution that from data, then people wanted insights and then predictive insights, predictive analytics. And then came the age of AI and Gen AI. So now we are completely an AI company, although the company name has not changed because we have a brand as TrendWise Analytics. So it is still relevant. Analytics is still relevant. So we left it that way. But but we have evolved. That's the main thing over the last 12 years, 13 years. We have evolved from a big data company to machine learning to AI.
So as an organization, you kept evolving, right?
Absolutely. That is also critical. And this is true for human beings as well. And that is the mantra I tell the CXOs as well. You need to reinvent yourself. Otherwise, it is impossible, especially with this new age, right? Everything is changing. Even the technology, even AI now, right? So now it was Gen AI till 2, 3 years. But now it is all agentic AI. Everything is about agentic AI. And there are so many newer and newer platforms being released. So you can't live if you, or you can't survive rather, if you don't reinvent yourself and keep
Key takeaway is reinvent yourself and adapt.
reinvent your. Absolutely, absolutely.
So just now, like you mentioned, right? Trendwise, as and also you work closely with the CXOs rather
Yes.
than tech teams, right? So what makes your approach to AI training and adoptions different from workshops and certifications?
Yeah, that's a good point. So basically, number one, we don't do like, public trainings, as they say, right? Anybody can join kind of thing. So all of our trainings are primarily, while we have a few online courses and all that, just to initially for awareness and so on, but they're all free that are available on our website. But our workshops and trainings are completely customized for the corporate, depending on where they are, which audience, because AI, be it agentic AI or generative AI, these topics are very vast, and therefore doesn't work like a one size fits all doesn't work. So a lot of people offer that way. It doesn't work. So our trainings are completely customized based on what is the objective. Why do they want to train their employees? Let's say if primarily we do corporate trainings. So we ask the CXOs what they primarily, why do they want to do this training, and along with the team if they want, and then understand at what level they are, because it could be just awareness. There is still a lot of organizations where the even the basic awareness is lacking. So we start with that and then we do it in a phased manner, depending on how deep they want to go. The other thing is all my workshops, as the name suggests, these are not just trainings where we just give theoretical gyan. It is actually hands-on. Even if the person is non-technical, we have hands-on exercises which don't need technical expertise. And I continuously enhance these so it is not like the same old activities for every training. They're completely customized and they are very, very engaging. So, and then we get into discussions and activities, hands-on activities. And if people are depending, and the best part is that while we start with a certain, table of content and maybe some agreed upon, but it automatically gets real time readjusted. So when I see that participants are really enthusiastic, they want to maybe even start coding, I at runtime, I modify. I say, okay,
Mm.
good. Now let's go and do some coding. And they all get excited. So I think that's the best part. And since I have the other thing is very often a lot of trainers are mostly young and the CXOs from their perspective, they are the other trainers may be inexperienced and young and so on. The credibility may be a bit lacking. Whereas in my case, I've been there, done that. I really can look at it from their angle, how a leader looks at things, right? So when I talk about a case study or I give a exercise, it is completely in tune with their thinking, right? And also based on which industry they are coming from, because nowadays these trainings are not very specific to only tech folks, not only for IT industry, right? They may be coming from industrial engineering, completely unrelated to IT. So now it becomes very difficult for somebody who's doing maybe some technology training for 10 years or something like that to adjust the delivery to somebody coming from a non-tech background, right? So for me, that gives me an edge. I understand as the leader how they look at it, and therefore during the delivery as well, it is completely customized. And therefore, at the end of the program, they all feel re-energized. They really feel like it's worth the time. Because remember, when CXOs are coming, they usually spend, let's say, 3 days, 4 days in this program. It has to be worthwhile for them because they're taking time out from their business where they would have maybe generated sometimes even millions of dollars, and they are coming here. So they should go back feeling, yeah, it was worthwhile spending this time. Yeah. So that is the differentiation compared to maybe other.
And also, during my research, I read that your companies have delivered 30 plus Gen AI and
Yes,
agentic programs, right? So,
absolutely.
what patterns do you see in companies that successfully move from AI learning to AI execution?
A good question. So basically, I think if you see there are a lot of stats around, if you see the stats around the success of AI in the adoption of AI, the rate of success of AI projects and so on, it is actually poor. Okay, majority of the AI projects fail. It's not because of the technology, but it is because of the approach that they take. And I think that is one pattern I have seen. There are a lot of organizations suffer from what I call it as, POC titis. Okay. Which means they just do POCs,
Okay,
right?
okay.
Like hepatitis, POC titis. So, they end up doing a lot of POCs every time they interact with somebody. They'll say, okay, or some new version of ChatGPT has come. They'll say, okay,
Mm,
let's do a POC. So there are
mm,
hundreds of POC they are doing, but they really don't convert that into a proper project, right? That is one pattern I'm seeing, and obviously that doesn't lead to success. The second is the projects that or the organizations that succeed are where these leaders have a skin in the game, which
yeah,
means that first of all, they should believe that AI will give value to them, right? AI will
yeah,
provide
true.
value to them. Unless that happens at the top or the CEO or the C-suite believes in the AI, it will not work. Okay. And but the organizations which have succeeded are those where the C-suite, especially the CXO, CEO, it has a skin in the game. He himself or herself gets involved in this project, right? Defining the objectives, the roadmap, and so on. Those projects I have seen, they definitely succeed. And most of the success stories are such kind of projects. There are others where they think this is just a technology game. AI is, by the way, not a technology game. It's a new technology, no doubt, But as far as enterprises are concerned, it's not just a purely technology game where say, okay, the CTO or the IT head will take care. No, it doesn't work that way. With AI, you need to transform your business, your processes. You can come up with completely reimagined business processes which were not possible without AI, right? So if you just try to continue with the same process and try to just plug in AI here and there, you will achieve some success, but it won't be worth the effort that people are putting in, right? So that is another pattern. There are fairly mature organizations and leadership where they understand this, right? And they therefore they have a skin in the game. They get involved, and then they succeed.
Any case study or of your Gen AI program? Any one case study or something?
I probably There are many actually, but
Mm.
it may be a little challenging to
Discuss.
discuss any of that on a call like this. But yeah, there are several examples of where AI was applied, and but I can talk about not one which I have personally, but maybe what may make sense is we can also learn from general case studies. There's a pharma company I will probably not name, and they really that's a very well known case study, and these guys really transformed and implemented a great AI strategy. They applied a three-pronged AI strategy where they had three types of AI implemented, starting from their CEO. Their CEO was the complete champion of AI, right? And he went on a very aggressive spree, saying that we will implement AI. And this is exactly their success was this. They didn't do hundreds of POCs. They just took up two or three solid projects. They took it end to end. One or two failed, one or two succeeded. That is okay. That was their strategy. But the good thing was the ones that succeeded, they got immense returns out of it, right? I think that is the model or example of how AI should be implemented. In my opinion, all organizations should probably follow them and put that way. I mean, not just POCs. No, sorry. What I mean is try two or three solid projects end to end. POCs, what they become is this just they just do it for a month or 2 months and discard it, right? And you can do hundreds of that, but you're wasting money, time on that. You're not taking it to a logical conclusion. So instead of that, what they said is we will not do POCs. Okay. We will first of all ideate and come up with 10 ideas. So usually what happens, the way AI projects implementation starts is they collect ideas. Okay, what can we do with AI? So they come up with 10 ideas and they kick off 10 POCs, right? Because they don't want to take a full-fledged project. That is a major
Mm.
commitment, right? So they do 10 POCs. Maybe it will go for 3 months, 4 months, and then everybody feels excited and it dies down. Okay. Instead, out of those 10, you say, okay, these three look like very good ideas. Let us do it full fledged till the end. Take these as three good projects, solid projects. Invest, commit everything into this and try it out. One of them may fail, that is okay. But the ones that succeed, they get immense returns out of that. That is a better strategy.
Like you mentioned, keep away from POC titus.
Exactly. POC
That's a
titus.
nice disease you mentioned. So zoom out and go and see the future. So looking at 3 to 5 years, how do you see AI changing the leadership, not just the jobs? How
Yeah.
the leadership environment? How will change?
Yeah, good question. So basically, of course, in this age, by the way, 5 years is a very long time. Okay, I think nevertheless, yeah, but nevertheless, I think especially for leadership, there will be tremendous changes. I would say, right?
Mm.
It is already changing. I conduct also while I conduct trainings on my own, I also conduct trainings for institutes like ISB Leadership with AI program, and therefore I interact through this as well. So I can already see that the leaders who are not willing to adopt AI and use AI, or they are basically quite a few leaders are a little bit scared of AI, right? So that will be very challenging because it is no longer you can't avoid AI anymore, right? Whether you like it or not, you have to make AI your friend. And there is nothing to fear. That is the main thing, including leaders. That is number one. So awareness, you understand it, you don't accept everything. That is absolutely fine because AI, not in everything AI is very good. There are certain areas AI doesn't do well, like things like which is okay. But awareness is the main thing. Then there is a little bit of I see resistance from some of the leaders, especially a few experienced folks, to even learn about what is AI, what it can do, and all that. That awareness is lacking, and therefore that creates that fear, right? So if you don't know about something, you fear that. So they everybody needs to, if they want to stay relevant, all leaders need to at least go through an awareness training or to learn, even if they are not doing a formal training, at least on their own, spend some time. That's
Mm,
awareness of the AI for leaders. As they progress, we will see that the role the leaders will, the way they perform their activities will completely change. There will be a lot of AI involvement. Today, a lot of the adoption of AI is at at a level where you delegate something to AI, right? Even if leaders are doing this, maybe they will use it to create a PowerPoint presentation they want to create. So they give it to AI to create the PowerPoint presentation. That is the mode right now. Even if it is agentic AI, they may use an agent to create the PowerPoint or something like that. As of now, a lot of it is in that area, right? Delegating something. But as we move forward, what will happen? Maybe if you, since you asked me 3, 4, 5 years down the line, it will, these leaders will be working with a combination of humans and agents. Their employees will be AI agents, not purely humans. Okay. And this will be the future where organizations, there will be, of course, organizations purely only one person leading with only agents. So they don't even have human employees. This may sound a little scary. I don't want to scare people, but that is the reality, right? Of course, we will do something else, but that is the reality. From a business perspective, that is a reality. There will be organizations where it will be probably more, everything or mostly will be agents, no employees. There will be one person owning that company and then everything. And then but a large part it will be a mix of humans and agents. So the leaders should get used to working with these agents. They need to learn how to interact with AI, right?
mm,
So skills like prompt engineering, for
mm,
example, today we have prompt engineering now very often, and a lot of leaders don't understand this. This is a very critical skill. They need to, every leader need to build
mm.
this skill because over the next 2 to 3 years, they need to on a daily basis interact with AI. So that is one major aspect. The other aspect is, as I was mentioning today, a lot of it is we are delegating to AI, but leaders in the next 2 to 3 years, they will be working with AI as their strategic partner because now with AI, you can debate, you can share your ideas, you can brainstorm, right? If you have a new idea, instead of just directly going into maybe a board meeting or something like that, you can validate with the AI your idea and all of that. So strategic partner, AI will become strategic partner. That's the kind of changes that will happen in the next 3 to 5.
Autonomy becomes a challenge then, right? So, where does autonomy make sense? Where should the human always be in the loop?
So that's a good question. So basically, the automation and autonomy, this is inevitable. This is going to happen, right? And there will be, so the easiest way to answer this is there will always be activities which we humans are still doing but we hate to do, right? Some repetitive tasks, cold calling, or even maybe driving, right? Driving, drivers also, the self-driving car is actually a good thing because a lot of drivers are frustrated. They don't want to actually, right? Although it is their living, but so a lot of work we humans do because we have to do and we have to make a living, but we don't enjoy it. Like even call center jobs are also, if you see, there is a huge frustration there, but people do it because they have to make a living. So that is the easiest place to start with, autonomy and our automation,
Mm.
if you will. And then as we move up the value chain, yeah, there will be other tasks as well. Knowledge skills will be the ones that will get automated and easy to automate. The areas which will be difficult to automate and which probably should not be also automated is where we need human empathy, right? Human
Mm.
empathy in your human feelings and human touch and so on. Although I must say, even there, with the advent of humanoid robots and so on, a lot of the physical AI that is now referred to as the physical AI, robots and all that, right? That is actually coming up. But then that is, in my opinion, probably should be the last thing. That I don't mean to say that this is how it will happen. But if you ask me how it should happen, that should be the last thing, right? The physical AI should be the last thing that should happen. But the other stuff, yeah, knowledge workers, which a lot of work which we do on a repetitive basis, all this I think can be and will be automated much sooner.
So the next question is what my audience are really interested to know. They keep
Yeah.
asking me this.
Yes.
So if someone wants to start building their career in agentic AI,
Uh-huh.
where should they start?
Yeah, good question. Yeah. So that's a very good question, which means that your audience are aware about agentic AI. That's the first thing, right? And which is very, very critical. Whether we like it or not, agentic AI and agents are here, and they will be, although it not at such a pace. In fact, at the beginning of the year 2025 in January, there was a lot of buzz saying that this is the year of agents, and there will be, every company will adopt agents and so on. So I would say, maybe I sometimes say unfortunately, but I would say fortunately, that did not happen, right? Because otherwise the whole job scenario would have been very ruthless. It has not happened, but the thing is, it's a matter of time. If it is not 2025, but it will be probably 2026. But agents are coming, and agentic AI is coming in a big way, which means that we all need to be prepared, not to be scared, but we need to be prepared, because it is inevitable. And this is a skill, if at all, if anyone can get a job, it is in building agents. This is the most required skill that will be, right? That's the most in demand skill that will be there. So in order to get there, again, it's not like overnight you can build a skill. So there, in my opinion, there has to be like a three-step process. Number one is learn about all the capabilities. Don't straight away start building agents and all that, because then what will happen is you may become expert at, because there are some tools. There are a lot of no code tools and all that, which you can follow the steps and do it. But you will be missing the fundamentals, especially folks who are bit on the technical side. Like, I know if they are engineers and things like that, I do not recommend them straight away going and building agents, right? While ultimate goal should be that. They need to first understand what AI can do, what is AI's capability as of today, because this is also evolving. But there has to be at least a foundation which will obviously not change. So that needs to be done first. And this is applicable for irrespective of at what level you are. You may be a college student just entering the job market, or you may be a senior leader, CXO level. This knowledge is extremely important to learn. This is all non-technical, just awareness. What can AI do today, right? And don't have to focus on a particular industry or a particular domain or anything. So that's the first step, understanding what AI can do. The second step is then, okay, which direction you want to be. You want to go into the technical domain where you want to really create and build agents, or you don't even have to do that. You can also be on the functional domain, learn how to use agents, make use of these agents, and you can, become an entrepreneur, come up with a good idea, just use the agents and get your, work the functional side, and then you have technical side. On the technical side, then you start learning how to build these AIs and build these agents. A good place is to start with no code. Don't have to worry about coding. Use some platforms. There are a lot of no code platforms like N8N, because first thing you need to understand is how to organize these agents. It's
Flow.
just like human beings. If you want to start a company, you need to know what kind of people you need, and you need to hire, right? Same way, if you're building agents also, how will that process flow and all that? That is very key. How do you orchestrate these agents, right? So without going into the internals and coding and all that, use some no code platform to and start orchestrating, building a few agentic workflows and so on. So that's the next step, even if you're technical, right? Then the third level you can then try to, if you want to really go deep, then you learn some framework to write the code and build, develop, programmatically develop. There are like LangGraph and AutoGen. These are the framework that are available. Learn this framework in depth and start building agents and so on. That is for the technical folks. On the functional side, you can go into your domain, choose your domain. If marketing is your domain, learn how you can use the agents. You don't have to build agents. Every agent need not be built because later on, just like we are having colleges to leave the students into the job market, there will be companies that will be building agents that anybody can hire, right?
Yeah.
So you don't have to build every agent. But if you have a good idea, then that is where you need to develop. You have a functional area. Let's say you're good at sales or you're good at marketing. Try to think of a good idea in that domain, or maybe an industry. You're good at electronics or you're good at pharma. Build your expertise in that and try to see how you can use agents, and then that is one area. And if you're a leader, obviously you need to then go to the next level, seeing how can you work with the agents and make the most in your business and so on.
For that is in depth. I think a lot of clarity has come. So we actually come to the last round, rapid fire.
Okay.
So I will ask you a question. The first thing what comes in your mind, right? One AI tool that every CXO should understand first.
So if this question was maybe a year or 2 years back, I would have said ChatGPT. But today I would say it should be Claude Desktop. Okay. Claude Desktop is a wonderful tool. Every CXO should get a handle of it. It's a free tool. It can save a lot of time. It can do a lot of things for them, and it will save them a lot of time. So Claude Desktop is my recommendation for leaders.
Biggest mistake companies make with Gen AI.
Yeah, I think I would say it is the POC Titus, right? They adopt whenever there is a new model. Let's say the 2 weeks back, Gemini 3 was the new model, and everybody was talking about it. So I'm sure there would have been thousands of POCs with Gemini, and then after that, OpenAI released GPT 5.2, and then there was a huge buzz. I'm sure again thousands of POCs on that. So I think that is the major problem. Everybody just does the POCs, and that is something I feel should be avoided.
So they must be seriously looking at a end-to-end project, right?
Exactly. Stop doing these. I mean, they can still do one or two POCs, but it shouldn't become a full-time activity of just POC.
Will AI replace managers or make them more important?
Managers, I would say this is a little tricky. If they work with AI, they will become very, very in demand. A lot of there will be, because what will happen as we move forward also is there will always still be some decisions where humans need to take, right? So while today we are calling it human in the loop, but I would think that later this will be a little different. It will be AI in the loop, okay? Because humans will form some decisions, but decision making, like managers' capabilities, would still be required. But then these managers should be AI enabled. They should be already learning AI, know how AI works, and so on. Otherwise, they will become irrelevant. So, if there are managers who are, you know, against AI, or they don't learn AI, no AI skills, they will become completely irrelevant.
Coffee or quiet thinking time?
Okay. So I'm a tea drinker, by the way. So definitely not coffee. But but on a serious note, I would have loved to do both. Actually, I do spend a lot of quiet thinking time with my cup of tea morning, first thing in the morning. I'm an early riser, so I spend a lot of quiet time with my cup of tea. So it's, I would say, quiet thinking time with my cup of tea.
One word that defines the future of work.
I would say one word would be something related to somewhat similar to cobot, which is like, cobots, right? It is a robot with a human. I don't have a exact equivalent of that. That's in the physical world, but I think that there is still, they have to still coin a word for that in the what do you say, in the knowledge world. But I think that is what is going to happen. It will be AI coexisting with humans doing knowledge work. That would be the future.
We have come to the end of our podcast. It was
Yeah.
really insightful.
I'm glad.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Sure, my pleasure. Thank you, Sachin.
Yeah. Thank you. This is Sachin signing off. You are listening to I'm 101 Talks with Sachin Menon.